Welcome back to the quarterly call. All content is for informational purposes and is not investment advice. Please consult with an investment professional. Today, we're taking a look at what stood out from Alphabet's first quarter earnings call for 2025.
That's right.
We're really aiming to, cut through the noise and give you the key insights. How is this tech giant doing now? And, well, where do they seem to be heading?
Exactly. And Alphabet's got its fingers in so many pies, doesn't it? So we'll focus on the really impactful stuff. Google Search, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Their AI advancements, that's huge right now. Google Cloud, YouTube's Dynamics, and what's new with Waymo, their self-driving venture.
Okay, sounds good. Let's maybe start with the big picture then, the overall financials. Q1 2025 looked pretty strong from what I saw.
It really did, yeah. Pretty robust.
Yeah.
They reported a solid 12% jump in overall revenue compared to last year. That's $90.2 billion.
Wow.
It's even a bit stronger, like 14% if you look at it in constant currency,
Yeah.
taking out the exchange rate swings. And what's encouraging, I think, is that this growth wasn't just like isolated to one spot.
So where did that double-digit growth come from then?
Well, we saw it in their core businesses, Google Search, YouTube ads,
The usual suspects.
pretty much,
Mm-hmm.
but also their subscription platforms, devices, and importantly, Google Cloud showed strong growth too.
Okay, so broad-based strength. That sounds healthy.
Yeah, it suggests, real underlying demand for all the different things they offer.
And it wasn't just about bringing in more cash, right? They actually got more profitable too.
That's a really key point. Their operating income jumped significantly up 20%, and the operating margin expanded too, hit almost 34%.
So growing and managing costs better.
Exactly. That tells you they're not just getting bigger, they're running things more efficiently as they scale.
And the bottom line, net income, those figures seemed pretty eye-popping.
Oh, absolutely. Net income just soared, up 46% to $34.5 billion.
46%.
Yeah. Which, obviously boosts the earnings per share figure nicely for investors. Plus, strong free cash flow, and they're sitting on a really healthy pile of cash and securities.
And speaking of investors, they didn't forget about shareholder returns, did they?
Nope, they continued the trend, announced more share buybacks, and bumped up the dividend too.
Always a sign of confidence from management, usually.
Generally, yeah. Signals they feel good about the stability in the future.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. AI, it's everywhere, and Alphabet's been making some big moves.
Definitely. It's kind of captivating how fast things are moving there. They really spotlighted Gemini 2.5.
The new model.
Yeah, calling it a breakthrough, industry-leading performance.
Mm.
That seems to be the engine driving a lot of the new stuff.
And they talked about their overall AI strategy. How are they approaching it?
They laid out basically three pillars. First, building out the fundamental AI infrastructure. Second, the research side, creating advanced models and the tools to use them. And third, actually weaving all this AI capability into their products, getting it out there.
Okay, let's dig into that infrastructure piece first. What were the highlights?
Well, they talked about ongoing investment in their global network, kind of the backbone. And on the computing side, they're pushing their specialized processors, like the new Ironwood TPU.
TPUs. Those are their custom chips for AI.
Exactly. Highly optimized for those intense AI calculations. Makes things faster, more efficient, especially when you're doing AI at huge scale.
Makes sense.
And they also stress their close work with NVIDIA, using their next-gen GPUs, the B200, the GB200.
Hmm.
Those are also critical for heavy AI workloads.
So that powerful infrastructure then feeds into the research, creating these smarter AI models.
Precisely. And they've rolled out quite a few recently. Gemini 2.5 Pro and Flash apparently getting good feedback from developers.
Okay.
Plus advancements in generating images with Imagen 3, video with Veo 2. And their open source models, Gemma, are apparently seeing tons of downloads.
So it's not just lab experiments. They're actually putting these models into products people use.
Oh, yeah, definitely. They said all 15 of their products that have over 500 million users each now use Gemini models somehow.
15 products. Wow.
Yeah. So you see in Android, Pixel devices, Google Assistant, getting upgrades on phones, tablets, cars, headphones, watches, pretty much everywhere.
And the new Pixel 9a phone launch seemed really AI-focused, too.
Totally. It's like their showcase for the latest AI stuff. Gemini Live for real-time interaction, AI camera improvements.
Right.
And they're rolling out that Gemini Live camera and screen sharing feature to more Android devices too, not just the newest ones.
Okay, let's turn to search then. Still the core business. How's AI changing search?
Fundamentally, it seems. They stressed how AI lets them understand, well, a much wider range of questions, more complex stuff, providing more complete answers.
And that AI overviews feature the one that gives summaries at the top that's getting used a lot.
Huge traction there. Over 1.5 billion people using it every month, they said. And still growing.
1.5 billion.
Yeah. People seem to be finding it useful for different kinds of information seeking. And they're expanding it globally.
They also mentioned something called AI mode, an experiment.
Yeah, that's in their labs environment. That kind of builds on AI overviews, but tackles even more complex multi-part questions, things where you need to compare info.
Interesting.
And they noted queries in AI mode are like twice as long on average. Early feedback is positive, apparently.
And searching with images, circle to search, lens, is that growing too?
Yeah, they highlighted significant growth there. People are using visual cues more often when they search for info.
Yeah.
It's becoming more natural.
Okay, let's pivot. Google Cloud. That's been a consistent bright spot, hasn't it?
Definitely. Cloud's still on a strong upward path. Growth in both the core GCP platform, including its AI products, and also Workspace, their productivity suite.
And the focus there is.
Cost, performance, reliability, especially for those really demanding AI training and inference jobs, making it efficient for businesses to run AI.
And Vertex AI, their platform. That's key for customers wanting to use AI in the cloud.
Absolutely. Vertex AI gives access to tons of models, their own Gemini family, open source ones, third-party models, lets businesses plug AI into their own workflows.
They also talked about AI agents in the cloud. What's the deal with that?
That seems strategically important. They've got tools like an agent development kit, agent designer, basically making it easier to build AI agents for business tasks.
Like automating things.
Sort of, yeah, or assisting employees.
Yeah.
They gave an example of KPMG using their agent space to help staff sift through internal knowledge faster.
And AI isn't just for big cloud projects, right? It's in workspace tools too.
Oh, yeah. They said Workspace delivers over 2 billion AI assists every month now.
2 billion.
Yeah, helping summarize emails in Gmail, polish writing in Docs, that kind of thing. And they're putting Gemini into their cybersecurity products, too, to spot threats better.
And that planned acquisition of Wiz, the security company, that seemed notable.
Right. Buying Wiz, a big player in cloud security, it's a clear move to really strengthen their security offerings for cloud customers.
Could help with multi-cloud setups, too.
Potentially, yeah. Making security easier to manage if you're using different cloud providers.
Okay, let's switch over to YouTube. It just hit a big milestone, didn't it?
It did. 20 years. Quite incredible how it's shaped, global video consumption and creation. Its staying power is really something.
And subscriptions seem increasingly important for YouTube's business.
Very much so. They've crossed 270 million paid subs across their different tiers. YouTube Premium and Google One are the big drivers there.
Are they experimenting with different types of subscriptions?
Yeah, they mentioned expanding a pilot for a Premium Lite, maybe a lower cost option, trying to cater to more people.
And YouTube's still dominant on the TV screen.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
They cited Nielsen data showing YouTube as the #1 streaming platform by watch time on US TVs for the last 2 years.
Wow.
Plus, they now have 1 billion monthly active podcast users. That's a huge number.
1 billion for podcasts? And music and premium subs are growing too.
Yep, hit over 125 million globally, including trials. So strong demand for ad-free and music features. And of course, creators are still the lifeblood, millions of videos uploaded daily, brand deals.
What about Shorts, the short-form video competitor?
Gaining steam, it seems. They reported a big jump in engaged views on Shorts in Q1. And they sounded encouraged about getting better at monetizing it, especially in the US.
Okay, last big area, Waymo. The self-driving cars, how's that progressing?
It's definitely scaling up. They saw a 5-fold increase in weekly paid passenger trips compared to last year.
5 times?
Yeah, now doing over 250,000 rides total. They've expanded the fully paid service to Silicon Valley and have those Uber partnerships rolling out in Austin and soon Atlanta.
And plans for other big cities?
Yep, Washington, D.C. and Miami are on the map for future paid launches. Plus, they're working on tricky things like handling airport pickups and driving on freeways, stuff needed for wider use.
So looking ahead, what did they say about the outlook and where they're putting their money?
Well, they flagged that comparing revenue growth in 2025 might be tough in some areas, like financial services ads, because 2024 was unusually strong there.
Right, the comps.
Exactly. And for cloud, they mentioned this kind of tight demand-supply situation right now. So revenue growth might fluctuate a bit depending on exactly when new server capacity comes online.
Yeah.
More expected later in the year.
But they're still spending big on that capacity, right? CapEx?
Oh, yeah. They stuck to their plan. Around $75 billion in capital expenditures for 2025, mostly for building out that technical
Sure.
infrastructure.
Huge number.
It is. And because of all that past and ongoing investment, they expect depreciation costs to accelerate through the rest of the year.
And headcount. Are they hiring?
Some growth expected, yeah, but focused in those key investment areas we've talked about. But they also stress they're still focused on efficiency and productivity across the whole company.
Okay, so wrapping it all up, sounds like a pretty strong start to 2025 for Alphabet. Solid financials, lots of AI progress.
That sums it up well, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Strong results overall, really fueled by that AI innovation and, continued momentum pretty much everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
They're investing heavily for the future, refining core products like Search and YouTube and scaling up newer things like Cloud and Waymo. It's a lot going on.
Definitely. So here's a final thought maybe for you and for everyone listening. With AI advancing so quickly and getting baked into almost everything Alphabet does, how do you think this might fundamentally reshape how we all interact with information and tech in the next few years? What sort of new opportunities or maybe challenges could pop up for us as individuals and for businesses too?
That's the big question, isn't it? Something to really keep an eye on as these technologies mature and, get even more embedded in everything we do. Definitely food for thought.
Thank you so much for tuning into the Quarterly Call. For more episodes, please remember to rate and follow our show. Until next time, stay curious and stay informed.